YouTube, what it do? Coding blogs are dead.
Common advice for developers who want to share their skills online is to start a blog. But when sites like Stack Overflow have a dramatic decrease in the number of questions, and considering the rise of chatbots that make it increasingly easy to get answers to specific questions, the fact is that starting a coding blog in 2025 could be a road to nowhere. What do I know about coding blogs? Well, at one point my personal blog was getting 75,000 unique visitors per month, and having seen this number dramatically decrease, rather than feeling terrified about the future impact of AI, I'm looking to other alternatives open to developers like you to continue to share their knowledge and wisdom just in a completely new way. Last time you were faced with a tricky coding problem you couldn't overcome on your own, what resource did you reach out to first? For me these days, my default choice is ChatGPT, which is really helpful because it takes into account the context of your specific problem and fairly often gives you decent ideas.
I got a multitude of things. ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek. I just use AIs and choose the answer that resonate with me. I don't got time to be arguing too much with the AI, but definitely we'll go to ChatGPT first. Claude is a little bit too restrictive when it comes to response. That motherfucker would turn on security mode ASAP if I ask something that's not PG. Claude, he's a little bit laid back. You know, he's the chill guy, the cool guy. DeepSeek, I think the only issue I have with DeepSeek is that the message chat message is pretty like it's pretty low as opposed to what I'm used to, you know? Like I'm not used to being in the middle of figuring things out and having to start a new chat all over. And it's fairly quick, so it's like I love DeepSeek, like truly do, but I wish the memory thing, the chat history, the chat thing, I wish that would be fixed. That's just my only issue.
Ideas to solve it. For many developers now, only when their AI fails them do they resort to what used to be the king of answers, Google. In a way, I love it because when I started blogging in 2019, I was writing technical articles and I was surprised how Google picked up certain keywords that people were obviously searching for. Once I saw that, I realized that pumping out dozens of articles was a decent way to get more traffic from Google. And while seeing the visitor count go up feels good, if you put yourself in the shoes of someone searching on Google, normally when you've got a problem to solve, you want to find the answer as quickly as possible. That means if you have a coding blog, people come and go very quickly, often never returning. And actually that desire to get the answer as quickly as possible is why AI technology in 90% of cases is infinitely more helpful than searching Google and reading through yet another coding blog. You might be
Yeah.
thinking, well, ChatGPT doesn't know everything. Have you ever read through a documentation site and however hard you try to understand the concepts, it just doesn't sink in? You can think of documentation for development frameworks and tools as the source of truth.
Fuck that. Have you ever read through a website and realized 10 minutes into that fucking reading that this shit is bullshit? Like everything about what he said is literal bullshit. Like not even making sense. You know how frustrating it is? 10 minutes of your life you never get back. That's the real reason why niggas don't go to Google no more. Like at first, Google was the only option, my nigga. Like, yo, Google was competing against DuckDuckGo, with no disrespect to DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo was a pretty good one. DuckDuckGo, we're talking Bing, we're talking MSN, Hotmail, yo, the search engines, Yahoo, like the search engines was ass, bro. It was bad. And Google was the best one out of all of that ass, you know. But now we have open AI and it's like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's like taking a 40-year-old Jordan and putting him against a young prime LeBron and expecting Jordan to fucking come out on top. Yeah, my nigga. ChatGPT is the best search engine optimizer I've ever fucking seen in this time period, my nigga. You crazy, nigga? Yo, anytime I need an answer, ChatGPT. Whenever I run out of prompts, I'm using free GPT, then I'm using DeepSeek, then I'm using fucking Claude, then I'm using my Google Copilot, then I'm searching for AI prompts. I might even switch from an email. All that to tell you I'm not going to Google as a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21, 22, 23, 24, and it might be in my top 30. It might be. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got a lot of tools to get my answers now. So like Google is going through the worst period of like we don't give a fuck about you in the world, bro. Like what is Google? What is
for
Google?
how they work. Problem is, developers who write that documentation don't always explain it in a way that helps you understand effectively. 50% of the content I wrote on my blog was a reinterpretation of official documentation. Well, back in 2019, that information might have been valuable. Today, it's no match for AI, which is trained on precisely these documentation sites. And the fantastic thing is, for users of those AI tools, you can ask very specific questions and get precise answers rather than sifting through documentation yourself or looking for a blog post that explains it in a way that makes sense to you. In the future, those kind of blog posts will go away because AI will be able to interpret data from any website and explain it to you in simple terms. But remember, I said 50% of my blog posts were like that. And what about the other 50%? Which is basically documenting combining technologies in unique ways that isn't explained in the official documentation. That could be running your favorite CI tool in AWS or figuring out how to get your favorite build tool to deploy to your cloud provider of choice. Because there are an almost infinite number of combinations of technologies, writing a blog post about something that worked for you can be valuable to someone else that wants to follow the same path. But eventually your carefully crafted blog post is going to end up as training data for an AI, so you might find that the audience for that post isn't what you hoped for. What was the last piece of content?
That's the scariest thing. That's why I don't a lot of startups or a lot of things I want to do right now, I'm fucking petrified, bruh. Because there's gonna be a nigga right there taking all the data. Ain't that a bitch?
Created by a human that you consumed online that really got you excited for development. If you're anything like me, it wasn't a really technical blog post. It was more likely a story that another developer shared that you could relate to and maybe even inspired you to take action towards that goal you've been putting off. Well, based on what I've said, if you don't think starting a blog is the right approach for you, there's an alternative option. Because if you think about content created by AI, it's missing one key ingredient that maybe it will never be capable of achieving. That's relatability, because it's a machine, not a flesh and blood software developer like you and me, assuming you're not an AI watching this. That's why I believe anyone who wants to share their development skills online should try to avoid competing with AI on a technical level, but instead combine their expertise with their life experience that only they have. Taking this approach is actually more interesting than writing dry, boring technical how-to guides. However,
I disagree, but I'll digress. I think that artificial intelligence and coding will play a role, well, at least for me, it's therapeutic. Don't, again, he's a very, very old man. I ain't gonna sit here and say I know his age, but that dude in his 50s, he's in his 40s. You feel me? I'm not that, my nigga. Gone are the days where I had to remember what the fuck y'all had to remember. I don't even want to fathom what y'all had to remember, my nigga. Y'all was living in caveman times, is what I'm saying. I'm roasting y'all old programmers rather than competing with the way y'all used to learn. That shit is outdated, bro. We the new gen. Right now, all my niggas in college, all my niggas that chose the self-development route, this your time to shine, my nigga. Use that motherfucking AI as Google. Learn everything because niggas like him aren't going to. They already think they got the game figured out. And you guys are low-key ahead of the game because he has to learn this shit. Imagine having to learn AI at 50. Hey, don't take granted for what you know, my nigga. It ain't like we're going against 50-year-olds that's dumb. We're going against 50 and 60-year-olds that like, they got some cognition left, but they ain't cognitive as us, nigga. They not like us in the coding world, bro. So like
However
Keep on
long you've
programming.
been developing software, whether it's 1 week or 1 decade, did you ever consider that you have valuable experience that others could learn from that you're not even aware of? So, as an alternative to blogging, follow these 3 steps. Brainstorm 10 to 20 problems you've overcome in your development work recently that others a few steps behind you might benefit from. Step 2 is to add your human perspective that AI
Yeah,
can't compete with. One approach
yeah.
that's working okay for me right now is to consider how you felt before you solved that problem and how your life changed for the better afterwards.
Personal experience being black. That's all I could say. So that's personal to me. Why am I so gritty, rowdy around the edges, a little rough? Because I'm black, and you guys are quick to tell me about my color. But whenever I show you guys some skill set, you guys will be quick to tell me why am I reacting to other people's shit. So personal experience, I don't really know what he mean by that. Like that's subjective.
By combining your unique experience with your technical know how, you give a compelling reason for somebody to consume your content, which they're going to relate to a lot more than a soulless AI chatbot. Step 3 is the fun part where you get to turn your content idea into reality. Since most developers' attention right now seems to be more towards social media rather than Google, whatever social media platform you use could be a good place to start. By lowering the bar and not aiming for perfection, you can produce educational content that can also inspire. So by avoiding posting content through the what I believe to be dying medium of blogging, you can instead go to where the eyeballs are and have just as much success. Let me leave you with this thought. It's a pretty exciting time to be a software developer, and as AI tools become more and more prevalent, the challenge that I know you're more than capable of rising to is to make the most of that new technology and carve a space for yourself.
No, actually, we're just tired of people telling us how to do that shit. At least I'm tired of people telling us how to do that shit. I feel like developers need to take more of an approach that he's taken, but he's the cool guy now. Like, I'm pretty sure at our age, like he was already on it. Like, and kudos to him for still providing to the community. I'm not calling you old, man. I'm not, but I'm saying some of the stuff you telling us is outdated. Very outdated, but you made some good points, and I'm not here to knock down any points. I know how I program. I know what it works for me. You as a developer got to know what works for you. You're a problem solver, not someone who watches someone else problem solve. I hope you guys like the content. Make sure I go subscribe to Tom Gregory Tech. Like, comment, subscribe, and we're out of here.